This is the Royals POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Kansas City Royals. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into the Royals POSTCAST here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Chance Liebau, and I'm here to bring you reaction to every single Royals game the rest of the way. Follow me on Twitter at Chance Liebau, but if you can't make a show live, do not worry. These episodes will always be uploaded for you to listen to on demand wherever you get your podcasts. Thank you for making the Locked On Royals podcast or the Royals POSTCAST your first listen of the day. Before we get started, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on our notifications so that you get an alert whenever we go live. Thanks so much for joining the show. Feel free to join the live chat. Let me know your thoughts on the game, and I'll do my best to get to some of the comments at the end of the show. Man, that sucked. That was one of the ugliest, one of the fastest baseball games in a long time. That was, 2 hours and 20 minutes, basically? That was a really quick baseball game. Bad loss for the Royals. They lose the series in Detroit. Starting to look like the team that we saw early in the season, the team before this big stretch of games, this 8-2 stretch. I'm gonna be honest. I'm starting to lose faith in this team. I never thought they were a playoff team. I said they were competitors, not contenders, and they're proving me right at this point right now. A bad loss tonight, 4-2 against the Tigers. Just unimpressed all across the board. There wasn't really anything that really stood out to me that was glaringly good, glaringly bad. We definitely saw another Matt Quatraro season a Matt Quatraro head-scratching move when it comes to the lineup and making a move late in the game with a pinch hitter. And I think that at this point, you kind of have to, I don't want to say expect that every single game, but you kind of have to expect that kind of move. Obviously, the results aren't what you want, but man, just a disappointing loss. And as you can tell, I'm wearing my K-State gear today. Man, this day has sucked. Not a fun day whatsoever to be a fan. But the Royals, very disappointing game so far tonight. And then yesterday, just a bad series in Detroit. Wheels starting to fall off a little bit. This road trip was never about Detroit. It was just about coming out with maybe a winning record. And even then, it's starting to look harder and harder. The White Sox aren't playing terrible baseball. But the Royals, man, that sucked. That was not a fun game to watch whatsoever. You had just back-breaking mistakes offensively, stupid base running once again. I just don't even, I'm kind of speechless at this point because, man, at this point, the Royals kind of are what we think they are. And, we'll just get into it because why not? This has been a rough year for Royals fans, a lot of bad baseball, but this series feels like the tilting point into, okay, here's just who this team is. So let's get into it. Here's what you'll be talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
Bad offensive day for the Royals. I mean, just atrocious across the board. Bobby Witt Jr. saves the day, 3 for 4 with a homer. Vinny drives in a run. But outside of those two guys, you go, oh, man, let's see. You go 4 for 24, no runs, no RBI, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. I think at this point, maybe this kind of comes back to my K-State opinions as well. I mean, at what point, if someone continues to show you who they are over and over and over and over again, at some point you have to believe them that they're not going to change. And that's what this Royals team encapsulates as an absolute whole. They are just not a good baseball team. I just don't think they are. They've showed us time and time again, this team is just not very good. Now, they have their moments, as any baseball team does. In the span of 162 games, anybody can get hot. You're going to see good stretches, bad stretches of games. But it just felt like at this point, in this game, this is who the Royals are. The law of averages kind of evens itself out at points. And today, the Royals just kind of, the dam broke. And it felt like that's what happened today. The Royals do not have, and I've said this, I've been on the record of saying this, the Royals do not have 9 capable major league everyday bats. That's not what happens. They have, 5 guys that I believe are everyday players, and everybody else is just kind of a platoon bat. And that's why you get these head-scratching decisions from Matt Quatrero late in games when it comes to pinch hitting and taking guys in and out. It's because they just have a bunch of platoon guys. And again, another frustrating game tonight from the offense. I mean, I wrote it down. 3 double plays tonight after last night having 2 and another couple of bad outs on the bases. This team's not good enough. This team is not good enough at the plate to be able to survive really bad base running. They weren't atrocious tonight on the bases. I'm not going to say that. They weren't bad on the bases tonight. Man, it just felt at this point they are just making way too many outs on the bases. It's getting ridiculous and way too many double plays. Since the All-Star break, the Royals are 4th in double plays coming into tonight as a offense. And they come at just absolutely back-breaking moments, and they just cannot get jobs done. It just doesn't seem like they're ever going to figure out. When it comes to FanGraphs and their base running metric, the Royals are 21st. But it just feels like more often than not, the Royals are getting themselves out on the bases. And they didn't tonight, but they just cannot survive. They cannot survive as an offense if they have these kind of nights. 3 double plays. 8th inning comes around. 7th inning comes around. You get 2 guys on with 1 out. Kyle Isbell steps in, and obviously the Tigers then go to a left-handed pitcher. And what's Matt Quatrero going to do? He's going to play the matchups. And Preston Farr had a tweet about it. I'm going to pull it up real quick because Preston does a fantastic job. I love Preston and all of his work that he does on Twitter. One of my favorite follows on Royals Twitter. But he tweets it out that Nick Lofton's just not clutch at all. Since the start of 2023 in high leverage situations, a 143 batting average was 0 extra base hits. 0 extra base hits in those situations. And yet continuously, Matt Quatrero puts him in those positions. And I'm not going to come in here and defend Matt Quatrero to my last breath because sometimes he just makes stupid decisions. Kyle Isbell's a solid hitter, man. And I'd rather have him up in those spots than ever in my life see Nick Lofton sniff another high leverage at bat. I think that Nick Lofton is done after this season. There's no reason to bring him back. But man, just another mistake in turning in Nick Lofton. Of course, he grounds him to a double play, and I get it. Matt Quatrero is, and we're going to talk about this at the second break after we come back from the break. But baseball, more than any other sport, is so much like a game of poker, a game of blackjack. Sometimes you're dealt really bad hands. Sometimes you just get really bad cards. Just because you lose, sometimes it doesn't always mean that you're a bad poker player or you're a bad blackjack player. Sometimes you just get bad cards. This is not a good baseball team. They don't have 26 major league players in this organization. There is still a lot of scars from the Dayton Moore era. I tip my cap more often than not to JJ Piccolo for putting them in the playoffs last year. I mean, just look at the roster they had last year compared to this year, but they just are not. They're not good enough. And, I think they kind of teased us a little bit with this last stretch of games against really bad competition. They're not going to be in the playoffs, guys. And I don't want to be I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but man, it just, I would love to see, and more than anything, I'd love to see playoff baseball in October. I like watching playoff baseball. I like it when my team's in it, but man, they just don't do enough. They don't do enough. They don't draft well. They don't develop well. You have guys coming up that aren't ready. You have Tyler Tolbert getting major league at bats as a starter. You have Nick Lofton hitting in high leverage situations. It's not just a game to game Matt Quatrero issue. A lot more of it stems from the fact that they just don't scout, they don't draft, they don't sign, they don't develop well. That's this team as an antithesis. And so just another bad outing from this team as an offense. I'm frustrated just because this has not been a good day of fandom as a Royals / K-State fan. Obviously, not a great day to be a sports fan, but that just sucked. That was not a fun game to watch. At least it was quick. I mean, it was like peeling off a Band-Aid. It was really fast, really simple. Just not enough, and not enough from everybody, all parties involved. Bobby Witt Jr. did enough, but everybody else, they send it up. Middle of the order. Bobby Witt Jr. makes it to second base, scoring position, hustling out a double as Riley Green fumbles in the outfield. And you're thinking, man, okay, are the Royals going to make this a game? You know what? Actually, we'll talk about this when we come back. I don't have a whole lot planned for that last break, but we'll talk about this. We'll talk about the 8th inning and then kind of the rest of the series and the rest of the road trip, to be honest, when we come back here on the Royals Postcast. It is time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through your day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape ginger lime flavor of 5-Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. Now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for two to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary, and that excludes the Masters tournament. This ends October 31st, 2025. It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. All right, let's talk about that 8th inning. You get an opportunity. Gift wrapped to you by Riley Green. Bobby Witt Jr. lines it to center field. Base hit. Riley Green fumbles it, and Bobby Witt Jr. is a very good base runner, very aggressive, makes his way to second. So gets on second with Vinny Pasquantino and Michael Garcia due up next. Where have we seen this before, folks? We've seen it time and time again in the second half of the season where the Royals have an opportunity. Runners in scoring position, middle of the lineup up. They don't get the job done. Vinny, first pitch swinging at a horrible pitch. I mean, a sinker that never, I don't know how in the world that Vinny thinks that ball is going to be a strike. And I get it. I'm not going to play pitch selection, armchair quarterback. But man, don't be, and Vinny's riding a hot streak. I think we can give Vinny a little bit of leash here. But how many times has he come up with a runner on second, an opportunity to bring him in? He doesn't get the job done. He just does not get the job done. And then Michael Garcia fouls the ball off his foot. I think that affected the rest of his at-bat. If you want to, I'd say that it did. And the inning's over because Michael Garcia strikes out. And I get it, Will Vest is a good pitcher. I'm not going to dispute that. But, man, time and time again, opportunities with run scoring potential with the middle of the lineup up, and they squander it because they're not as good as they were last year. Vinny Pasquantino last year, this is absurd. Vinny hit 340 with runners in scoring position last season. 340. That's an absurd number. And that doesn't even include sacrifice flies, which he had a ton of last season. He's hitting 238 with runners in scoring position this year. 238. And while that's a drastic difference, I think that's probably around the league average in terms of with runners in scoring position or a little bit below. But just time and time again, they just seem to make mistakes and put themselves in good positions only to wiggle themselves out of it. And it's just increasingly frustrating as a Royals fan to watch them do this time and time and time again. Time and time again. They just seem to do it over and over. Like I said, if somebody continuously shows you who they are time and time again, at some point you have to believe that that's who they are. And that's what the Royals showed us tonight. Bad baseball all the way around. Sam Long gives up another bomb. His days are definitely limited. I mean, the bullpen's just gassed right now. They bring up Jonathan Bolin. I don't know when the last time Bolin threw in the minors was, so maybe he wasn't. Maybe he wasn't available tonight. I don't know. Sam Long's days are numbered. I don't think they needed to I don't think they needed to have Lucas Ursig or John Schreiber throw in that spot. So you get you get your low leverage turds out of the way and tip your cap to Michael Wacha. Our biggest criticism last night was the fact that the starting pitching staff just couldn't get through 6 innings. And Michael Wacha grits his teeth all the way through 6 innings, 108 pitches for Wacha. And heading into his last start or heading into this start, he'd only thrown over like 90 pitches once since the All-Star break. So for him to be able to go 108, that number one shows you that Matt Quatrero realizes this bullpen is gassed beyond all recognition. And also the fact that, Michael Wacha still has some juice left. So give credit to him for being able to get out of a jam there in that 6th inning. But, man, I don't want to, pop anybody's balloon, but I don't think this team's a playoff team. They need way too much help around them, and I don't think they're going to get it. I think that at the end of the day, this team probably finishes at 82-80 or 81-81, and we're talking about some outfield additions and how we can make this bullpen better come next season. But a very, very unfortunate thing. Parker asked if the dog is with me today. I actually am dog sitting my girlfriend's dog today as well. They're playing down here, having a little bit of fun action right there. So I do have obviously my canine friend is here to brighten the mood a little bit, but even then, tough day to be a sports fan if you're my combination, K-State and Royals fans. But I don't even. I'm Bill saying KU's up 31-7. Hey man, if that floats your boat, good for you. I'm not a KU fan, but obviously I cover KU for work. But yeah, this is not a playoff team, at least this current version of itself, and I don't think there's a way for them to get immediately better anytime soon. So I appreciate you guys for being here tonight, obviously under some dire circumstances, but hopefully tomorrow we're talking about the Royals being able to salvage a series win, able to salvage a series heading into Chicago, because God knows they need it. And more than that, they need an off day very, very soon. So I appreciate you guys for being here tonight. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notifications, and we will see you tomorrow afternoon for another edition of the Royals Postcast on the Locked On Podcast Network.